Throughout the 6 years Fortnite has been out, there's been 16 different players who have gone on to earn over $1 million from tournaments. And throughout this time, some have quit while some are still at the top and others have fallen off. So let's see exactly where the Fortnite millionaires are today. First, starting off this list with the most recent player to earn over $1 million. He's known as one of the best players to never win an FNCS and is still on top dominating today. And that's Thomas HD. He got his big break early on, qualifying for the Duo World Cup Finals. However, he would only place 21st. Over his career, he's managed to get 7 top 3s in FNCS, getting so close to winning multiple times, but not quite getting there. And now playing with Malibuca, he's looking really good, and with the invitationals coming up, we'll have to see how he does. Next player on this list is the one with the most earnings, the one and only World Cup winner, Buga. He needs no introduction. The main chunk of his earnings is the $3 million that he won from the World Cup. However, after this big win, he wouldn't end up getting another win in a big tournament until Chapter 2 Season 8's FNCS, where he would finally win, and in that same season, he would go on to win the Grand Royale too. And once again in Chapter 3, he would win that first season, making him the back-to-back-to-back FNCS champ. And since then, he's managed to get 3 more top 3 finishes in FNCS, overall making him the most earned player in Fortnite with over $3.6 million. And he's still placing extremely well today. Let's continue the trend of World Cup winners, becoming the second most earned player that actually just retired, and that would be Aqua. A big chunk of his earnings is obviously from the World Cup, but he's gone on to win the Trio Season X FNCS and Chapter 3 Season 2 Duo FNCS. Plus, he's gotten multiple top 5s in FNCSs throughout his career. However, since Aqua ended up getting tendinitis pretty early on in his career, he was unable to play some seasons, which led to poor performances, and eventually him quitting. But he still managed to earn almost $2.2 million. And I actually just made a video on his story if you want to learn more after this video. Let's continue with another OG player placing second at the World Cup, and that would be Sam. His career was pretty short compared to the rest of the players on this list, with him only playing up until Chapter 2 Season 1 squads. But placing second in the solo World Cup earned himself $1.8 million from just that. And afterwards he would go on to earn $70,000 from other tourneys. But now he's gone on to become a pro Valorant player for a little bit and is currently not on a team. However, he's already gone pro in 3 different games, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him go pro in another one. Let's next go to a player who's still playing very well today and is actually the player with the most FNCS wins in the world, and that would be Epic Whale. He placed 3rd in the solo World Cup, earning $1.2 million. And after, he would go on to dominate the NA West region, winning those 6 FNCS titles from there. On top of that, he also won the very first Gamers 8 tournament with Malibuca. And nowadays, he's still doing pretty well, but not as good as he was doing on West. And nowadays, since East and West servers have combined, he's now playing with Clicks and is still doing fairly well, qualifying for this upcoming FNCS Invitationals. For the 6th player on this list, we have someone that earned his million in probably the most interesting way, and that would be Anas. He has been a pro player in Fortnite for a very long time and actually won the first Zero Build Gamers 8 tournament, and he's gone on to earn over $500k from tournaments. But there was just one tournament that would triple his earnings, and that would be the $1 million Mr. Beast Cup. A lot of people were upset that he won since he was already an established pro, but most people don't really give him the credit he deserves. He probably practiced that map the most out of anybody, and it clearly paid off. Nowadays, he hasn't been grinding as much as he used to since winning that tournament, but in this most recent season, he actually picked up a very underrated player with less than $1,000 earned, and they would go on to make that season's grand finals. So with almost $1.6 million earned, he is currently the 5th highest player earned on Fortnite. The next player we have is the Polish GOAT Kami. He's had a very amazing career so far, placing extremely well and being on top for multiple chapters. He's known for being one of the hardest workers in the game, quickly adapting to every meta. His most earnings from a single tournament would be his win in the most recent Zero Build Gamers 8 LAN, bringing home $280k. He also just won the first official Fortnite LAN event since the World Cup, which was the FNCS Invitationals, and winning another FNCS back in Chapter 2 Season 8. And since then, he's gone on to get multiple top 5s in FNCS and has racked in almost $1.1 million. And with the next Invitationals coming up, we'll have to wait and see if they become the back-to-back LAN champs. Another player who's managed to earn the majority of his money online and is considered one of the best players in the game would be Tayson. Over his career, he's managed to win 5 FNCSs to this date, which is one of the most throughout the entire world, and on top of all that, it's on EU. Not to mention he's also gotten multiple top 3s in other FNCSs as well. And with the upcoming invitationals playing with Mustache, it'll be interesting to see how well he can do. But so far he's managed to earn himself over $1.1 million. Let's bring it back into the World Cup era with the last winner we haven't talked about yet, Nyrox. Most of his money is from winning the World Cup, but afterwards he fell off pretty hard, not placing too well. He would even go on to take some breaks here and there from the game. But nowadays he is still playing the game, and since the World Cup he's managed to earn almost $30,000 online. However, even though he isn't placing as well as he used to, he still managed to earn over $1.5 million. For the next player on this list, we have the only player from one of the smaller regions, and that's the Argentinian player, King. He started off making a name for himself by showing off his insane fighting skills during the Solo World Cup finals. And after getting 5th, he made himself 900 grand at just the age of 13. And it wouldn't stop there. Like some of the other players on this list, he's continued to make a name for himself by placing extremely highly throughout FNCS, winning 4 different times. He's also gone on to grow his brand and become the face of the Brazil region, earning almost $1.2 million in the process. And with this upcoming FNCS Invitationals coming off of a back-to-back FNCS win, he's looking the best he's ever been. Continuing with players to earn over $1 million at an extremely young age, we have Wolfies. He used to be considered the best controller player, and for a good reason. After being one of just a few controller players to qualify for the World Cup finals, he did what many thought were impossible and placed second, making $1.1 million at the age of 15. And in the early seasons after the World Cup, he would be extremely dominant, placing second in the Chapter 2 Season 1 squad's FNCS. And in that next season, he would end up getting another second place during the solo FNCS Invitationals. Unfortunately though, afterwards his placements would only decline, until eventually he would quit in May of 2023. But now he has found a new passion in fitness and seems to be doing well, enjoying the almost $1.4 million he's made from Fortnite. The next player on this list is Wolfie's duo, Rojo. Now his story is very short in the Fortnite scene. Obviously, he would earn most of his money from getting that second place in the World Cup, and afterwards, he really didn't have any outstanding performances, with his last grand finals being in Chapter 2 Season 4, and eventually he would quit in Season 8 of that chapter. But overall, he's made $1.2 million. Another player who became a millionaire from just the World Cup by placing 4th in solos would be Creo. Now Creo has been playing the game for a very long time, making a name for himself back in the skirmish days, with his most notable placement back then being a 3rd and a 2nd. And like some of the other players on this list, he never actually had a really good placement after the World Cup, with his best one being a 7th in Chapter 2 Season 5 FNCS. And eventually, after losing passion for the game, he would retire early in this year. And throughout that time, he's made over $1.2 million. The next player coming up is going to be the last player on this list who is actually still playing the game, and that would be Cease. He's another player who has been playing the game for a very long time, with his most impressive placement till this day being his 3rd place finish in the Duo World Cup. And he also made it to the Solo World Cup finals, but didn't finish the best. And since then, he hasn't had the greatest placements, only getting 2 top 5s in FNCS. And with that, he's managed to rack in almost $1.2 million. But today, he is still playing the game and is still making the FNCS Grand Finals. For our last 2 players on this list, we'll combine them a little bit since most of their achievements are together, and that would be Zayt and Saf. Ever since the early days of the game, they've been on top, with their best performance back then being a win in the Summer Skirmish and a win at ESL Katowice. But their most earnings from a single tournament would be the Duo World Cup, where they would place 4th, winning 750 grand each. And they actually were extremely close to winning the entire event, but they had some unfortunate games that caused them to drop down. But afterwards, together, they would end up getting 4 top 5s in FNCS, with one of those being a win back in Chapter 2 Season 2. But sadly, in Season 7, we would see Zayt depart from the game. Until this day, nobody really knows what he's up to. So that leaves Saf. He would continue to play for a little bit after Zayt left, getting some decent placements in tournaments, but would ultimately also quit back in Chapter 3 Season 2. However, they both managed to earn themselves over $1.2 million in their time playing. So overall, there have been 16 players to become millionaires from Fortnite tournaments, with 7 of those 16 quitting the game. And currently, the closest player to hitting that $1 million earned and is still active is one of the best players in the game currently, Queasy, with 900 grand earned so far. So in the upcoming years, it'll be exciting to see who will make this list. Comment down below who's your favorite player from this video, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.